Hello, everyone, and welcome to my podcast discussing the Discourse community group of ACL parents. I'm your host, Sally Countryman, and I'm excited to go on this journey together. Are you an athlete, a parent of an athlete, or an injured player who wants to learn how to stay level-headed through an injury? Well, this is the perfect place for you to be. Today, I will discuss an online Facebook discourse community for parents of athletes with ACL injuries who use the support and experiences of other parents to learn more about the injury. Close your eyes and put yourself in the shoes of a senior high school lacrosse player, playing against her biggest rivalry team while taking a free position. She takes an approach from the second hash. She bites the goalie to the upper right and shoots upper left. As she shoots, the crease sucks her in, and she scores, so she plants her foot like concrete into the ground, trying to avoid going over the line. But the momentum of her body keeps moving her forward, while her knee stays planted. Milliseconds later, she hears her knee snap like celery. The crowd and teams go silent. Her father is out of town on a work trip, but her mother is in the stands watching her daughter become Velcro to the ground, unable to get up. This is my story. As a parent, how are you supposed to parent a child who has worked her whole life to be where she is today, who's worked hard to become a collegiate athlete, whose life was changed in a matter of seconds? Parents experience their child's injury to a certain extent, but the question is, what are the right ways to guide them through these difficulties when parents might be feeling stress and anxiety themselves? This podcast will address how parents navigate the challenges of raising their children with ACL injuries, offering insights and tips to other parents by sharing their child's story through the Facebook discourse group, Parents of ACL. It is imperative for not only parents to learn about the child's injury, but also for coaches and non-injured athletes to be exposed to the process so they can understand the available support resources that athletes' parents often seek out. On today's podcast, I will be visited by my mother to ask her questions on her parenting experience. Hi, Mom. I'm thrilled to have you here today to discuss your personal experience. Let's get right into it. If you don't mind, could you please introduce yourself?
Thank you for having me today. My name is M.K. Countryman.
Lovely. Let's get into the questions. Were you a member of the ACL Parent Facebook group?
I have been a member of the ACL Parent Facebook group for a year and a half, a little more than a year and a half, when my daughter tore her ACL.
Did they help you understand the recovery process from a parent's point of view better than before?
Yes, I got all kinds of information about different hiccups that the kids could have and what's normal, what's not normal, and everyone has a different normal is basically what you learn. But yeah, it was a good experience. It's nice to hear from other parents what they were going through.
What were your biggest worries as a parent, and did the group answer your questions well?
I guess I had never been through anything like this, so I didn't really have, or I wasn't aware of what to worry about at first. Our surgeons and our care team and physical therapists just seemed to say, this is what you should be doing. And I know that my daughter was a hard worker, so she would do what needed to be done. As time went on and she had some complications, the group helped kind of validate those, I guess, like learning that other people had been through some of those same complications gave me some input on what to ask the doctors for, how to move forward, what to do about some of these complications.
What is your biggest advice to a parent who is beginning the process of parenting their child through the recovery process?
To advocate for your kid, even the kids that are 17, 18, navigating the medical world is tough and they know their bodies. If they have a question, if something doesn't feel right, be with them talking to the doctors, be with them talking to the physical therapist, and also encourage them, show them how to advocate for themselves and get in and really get your questions answered, because it's a long process. Other advice is this is a mental injury as much as a physical injury, and watch out for your kids' mental health. That's the most important thing. And people say that. They say it's a mental health injury, but they don't say more than that. Question the doctors and the PTs later on in the process why they didn't tell us more what that meant. And basically they were just saying that it's different for everyone and they don't want to scare people or whatever. But maybe in hindsight, I should have gotten her a sports therapist early, but they do have to be ready for it too. Some of the kids just aren't ready and they may not need that earlier, but just keep an eye on them and help them advocate for their needs.
That concludes my questions for today. Thank you so much for joining me today to share your experience. I'm sure the current listeners are pleased to be able to hear your advice. Let's get into the analysis of this discourse group. A unique part of this community is how it shies away from the medical communication side of the injury. It is a genuine connection from parent to parent rather than a doctor telling a parent the steps to recovery. This attributes to the group's goal of creating a welcoming environment for parents to ask questions without feeling like they must hold back their thoughts. Not all surgeons have a child they've parented through an ACL injury, meaning they can't attest to all the emotions the kids go through, even if they've reconstructed thousands of ACLs. The ability for parents to learn from parents through an online digital community helps normalize the setbacks, goals, and good or bad times, which help make parents feel less alone during the process. The main way this group communicates is through posting videos, writing stories, and asking questions on the online platform. For example, one parent asked for ideas on celebrating the last day of PT or clear-to-play appointments. Another parent urgently responded saying using a sticker chart to acknowledge and honor achievements throughout the injury helped the child to keep moving forward. Personally, I can attest to this as I also struggled with motivation during PT and looked at the year-long recovery rather than breaking it down into small goals. Breaking it into small goals drastically changed my point, and I was able to rekindle the motivation I had lost. The parent who responded continued to follow up with giving their child small gifts after each goal was met. This also boosted her child's confidence and drive to keep working through the recovery process. The parents also don't sugarcoat this process and do a good job accepting and honoring the difficulties and struggles the children go through. They don't want people to say it's going to be easy because they know it won't be. They don't want people to leave out the hardest, saddest parts because they will watch their child face those parts. This is a common theme I've seen throughout many of the posts from the parents. For example, one parent commented, quote, "Tell me everything about scar tissue surgery, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We are 12 weeks post-op, not getting full extension. Follow-up MRI shows scar tissue. Next step is surgery," end quote. This specific mother wants to hear how strenuous the next unexpected surgery is going to be. Because of this group, she was able to receive feedback in a timely fashion. Whereas, if she wasn't a part of the group, maybe she would never have gotten the answer she was looking for. This group becomes a safe place for parents never to shy away from asking silly or advanced questions. Not only is this group a safe place, but by honing in on the common goals between parents sharing how their child recovered and how new parents want to know how to parent their child, they both learn from each other by reflecting and receiving information. This Facebook discourse community is one of the strongest, most powerful, influencing groups as it touches on motivation, how to come back from a setback, and how life experiences shape a person. In short, it connects people across the world to learn from one another. As an athlete who went through this recovery process and received many setbacks, having 2 surgeries, going to college on crutches, and having to take a medical leave from school 2 months after moving in, I've seen the worst of it, which I wouldn't go back and trade it even if I was able to. 2023 was one of the hardest years I've experienced, yet I'm so grateful for the lessons it taught me. After that year, I know I can push through more than the average person my age. My advice to any parent or child who's beginning or in the process of going through recovery is to take it day by day, goal by goal, and to never compare your recovery process to anyone else. Everyone is on their own timeline, and even if you feel behind, don't give up, because the setbacks you push through make you stronger on the other side. Today's podcast took an approach of unpacking an online discourse community group, specifically on Facebook, titled Parents of ACL. Being an athlete means you will experience many highs and lows, and this podcast unpacked the lows, such as an injury, but through a parent's perspective. The ability to connect with other parents on an online platform such as Facebook to bond over shared experiences of parenting your child through an injury is a lucky experience only certain parents get to experience. And spreading this Facebook group to more parents not only will help keep more kids committed to the recovery process, but will also save and protect parents knowing their child will make it out of the process no matter what obstacles they face. My hopes in creating today's podcast was not only to inform a larger audience of the recovery process through a parent's perspective, but spread awareness and knowledge about available resources like this group. Whether your child is going through an ACL injury process or other processes you want to know more about, seek out for help, as there are groups just like this all over the place. I want to thank you all for tuning in today to listen to the Unraveling on ACL Parents, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I want to say thank you to my mother, MK Countryman, for joining us today and for sharing her experience with the group. It was a pleasure to have you all, and I look forward to seeing everyone on the next episode. Have a great rest of your day.